Good afternoon and welcome to this Thursday, January 31st edition of Westman Newsline. I'm Dylan Donald alongside Tamara Pimentel and Randy Joseph Lilly. In today's news, Justin Trudeau made a stop in Brandon this morning, so we'll tell you about that, as well as some news regarding year-round entertainment at Assiniboia Downs. And Tamara will be in with sports. Tamara, the Raptors were involved in a three-team trade last night. Was it a good move?
Well, Dylan, I think the new additions will have more of an effect on next year's season. I'll have that and more later on in sports.
Thanks, Tamara. And Randy will be in with weather. Randy, it's your birthday. Did you get everything you wanted?
Not yet. Based on the wind chill warnings today, I could use another scarf, some warm hats, and maybe some ski pants. Hint, hint. Currently in Brandon, it's mainly sunny, but don't let that confuse you. It's awful outside, minus 31, and it feels like minus 43. I'll have more information regarding the weather later on in the show.
Thanks, Randy. Liberal leadership hopeful Justin Trudeau made a stop at Brandon University this morning as part of his cross-Canada tour. The Montreal area MP spoke to a multi-generational crowd of about 75 people, trying to make a case as to why he should be the next leader of the Liberal Party. Trudeau started with a 20-minute speech, touching on many subjects, such as making Canada a whole and not harboring racism towards our neighbours. He also talked about the legalization of cannabis, which elicited an enthusiastic response from the crowd. Once Trudeau finished speaking, he opened it up to questions. The question on everybody's mind seemed to be the Idle No More movement and protests. Trudeau will make 5 other stops in our province, including Portage la Prairie, Winnipeg, and Neepawa. The 10th annual Lieutenant Governor's Winter Festival begins tonight in Brandon, with opening ceremonies kicking off at City Hall. The 3-day event is anticipated to bring in over 60,000 visitors to the 13 pavilions scattered throughout the city. Some of the pavilions that will be found in this year's Winterfest are the Irish, English, Scottish, German, First Nations, and Ukrainian. Admission into all pavilions is free, and the city buses will be running at no cost to take you from pavilion to pavilion, then back to City Hall. The event wraps up on Saturday night. Sentencing for a Manitoba Aboriginal youth leader has been put off after the judge in his sexual assault case agreed to have a psychiatrist conduct a risk assessment on him. Thomas Edwards was to be sentenced yesterday for fondling and molesting 2 male youths under the guise of performing an Aboriginal healing ceremony between 2003 and 2007. Crown Attorney Jennifer Mann asked the judge for 18 months for his conviction for touching 1 youth sexually and another 4 years for sexually assaulting a victim and refusing to let him leave the room they were in. Defense counsel Ryan Rolston argued for a conditional sentence of 2 years less a day. Queen's Bench Justice Colleen Souche says she is concerned that Edwards has not admitted his guilt and that many of his supporters also believe he is innocent. Manitoba Finance Minister Stan Struthers says the Red River Exhibition Association's proposal to transform Assiniboia Downs into a year-round multi-purpose entertainment centre is a deal too good to pass up. He says it will save the government about $5 million, but the progressive Conservatives say if the government wants to do what's best for horse racing in Manitoba, it would butt out of areas it doesn't understand. It says a government-commissioned report found the value of horse racing in Manitoba to be worth $50 million, and it wants to ensure that the government realizes that value and doesn't lose it. Brandon University's Healthy Living Centre kicked off the 2013-2014 season with the BU Bobcats. However, it's not just a new home for the Bobcats athletics, it has much more to offer. Westman Newsline's Keening Darling went to the Healthy Living Centre to file this report.
The Healthy Living Center opened on January 14th this year across the street from the Brandon University. Westman Newsline asked students and staff how the Healthy Living Center benefited them.
Well, this is my first time here and it's awesome. Like all the new equipment and stuff, it's pretty sweet. Everything here is new, everything's great. Like nothing I've ever seen before. I'd recommend it to everybody in Brandon.
There was always a need for a new gymnasium within the university as well as a teaching center. So they collaborated over many years and eventually came to be this facility that you see before you. It's open to everyone. Students of Brandon University, it is part of their tuition if they're on campus. And then the community at large, we have an access agreement with the City of Brandon for the in the building of this facility, it was always agreed that there would be a component of community access. So members of the community can come and be a member here, as well as with the Brandon University students.
The Healthy Living Center is open and available, so stop by if you have time to add a healthy workout to your healthy lifestyle. For Westman Newsline, I'm Keenan Darling.
2 major concerts have taken place in Brandon in the last week. Sadly, neither Kenny Rogers nor the Tragically Hip managed to fill more than half the seats in the Keystone Center's Westman Communication Group plays. So for our question of the day, Westman Newsline asked, why do you think concerts in Brandon are not well attended?
Because I think Kenny Rogers is really lame.
Didn't know about it.
Yeah,
They're not being advertised well enough locally. Probably advertising. Probably not enough people knowing that they're in town.
I didn't know about them. I think they're not advertised or made well enough known.
Okay.
I found out about them after the fact.
Okay.
And with that, let's take a look at where today's money markets are currently sitting.
Westman Newsline, produced by the IMA Media Production students of Assiniboine Community College. Local news, weather, and sports on Brandon's only TV newscast, Westman Newsline, airing at 1 p.m. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday on WCG-TV.
Taking a look at international news, a deadly storm system pounded several of the southern United States Wednesday. It downed trees and power lines and damaged hundreds of homes. Ed Payne has the story.
This tornado was caught on camera near Interstate 75 in Adairsville, Georgia. Power lines were toppled, and one man was killed when a tree fell on his home. Truck driver Travis Richardson saw the twister coming, but he couldn't get away.
What it did was it sucked my truck in like a vacuum, and then it spit me out.
Hilda Jackson and her family rode out the tornado in their storm shelter. They lost their home, but survived.
Destruction, our home's gone, and never expected to see anything like this.
The tornado heavily damaged a manufacturing plant in Adairsville. About 100 workers took cover and survived. Employees at a local bank took shelter in a vault.
Probably weren't in there maybe 10-15 seconds, and you could feel the pressure in your ears change, like riding an airplane.
The storm system destroyed homes in Nashville. One man was killed there when a tree fell on his shed. And in Mississippi, a woman credits divine intervention with saving her life when a massive tree fell on her home.
I'm telling you, without a shadow of a doubt in my mind, that the Lord woke me up, said, get up, because I had no sooner got up and got out of the way than the tree fell on the house.
Today, residents will be dealing with the cold, windy, and harsh realities, picking up the pieces of the powerful storms. I'm Ed Payne reporting.
The deaths Wednesday marked the first fatalities from a tornado nationwide in 220 days. That is a new record for most consecutive days without such a fatality. Authorities continue to surround an underground bunker in Alabama where a gunman is holding a 5-year-old boy hostage. The boy was dragged off his school bus Tuesday afternoon in Midland City after the gunman shot and killed the bus driver. School officials are calling the 66-year-old bus driver, Charles Poland Jr., a hero. He was shot after refusing the gunman's demand to hand over a child. Authorities say he also had tried to block access to the vehicle. School officials say his quick thinking saved the lives of the other children on his bus. Authorities have identified the suspect as 65-year-old Jimmy Lee Dykes, a Vietnam veteran and retired truck driver. Yesterday, he was supposed to appear in court to answer to a menacing charge over a December fight with his neighbor. Authorities say the boy is physically okay, and they've been able to communicate with him through a pipe connected to the bunker. Authorities have also been able to deliver the boy's medication and some coloring books and crayons through the pipe. That's it for news, but stay tuned. Randy's up next with Newsline Weather.
Good afternoon with Newsline Weather. I'm Randy Joseph Lilly. Yes, it is cold, so I'll just come right out and say it. With winds from the north-northwest at 32 kilometers per hour, it feels like minus 43, which means exposed skin can be frostbitten within 10 minutes. So if you do have to go outside, make sure you are bundled up. Currently in Brandon, it's minus 31 and mainly sunny. This evening, pretty pretty much exactly the same. Cold, windy, and miserable. Overnight, minus 32, but with the wind chill, minus 40. The sky will continue to be clear, and again, not much will change. It will be brutal. Turning to our radar image now, you'll see a whole lot of nothing unless you're looking at Alberta. Moving to our satellite image, you'll see skies are pretty much clear, only some sketchy thin cloud. Now let's move to the 5-day forecast. Today will be awful, as will tomorrow. The highs we projected for Saturday and Sunday are a little lower than we anticipated. Minus 7 for Saturday and minus 13 for Sunday. Hopefully Monday and Tuesday will be exactly what we expect, minus 5 and minus 6 respectively. Now before we take a look around the region, I'll remind you that most of these areas are under wind chill warnings. Again, dress warmly if you are leaving the house. It will feel anywhere from minus 40 to minus 45. So now the temperatures. Winnipeg is in at minus 27 along with Dauphin. Portage, La Prairie, and Neepawa are in at minus 28. Carberry is in at minus 32, Killarney minus 29, and Minnedosa and Verdun are in at minus 31. Seasonal norms for this time of year are a high of minus 11 and a low of minus 22. The record high was set back in 1999 when the temperature was 4.1 degrees. The record low was established in 1996 when we saw minus 39.1 degrees. Once again in Brandon, mainly sunny with a temperature of minus 31 and a wind chill warning is in effect. It will feel more like minus 43 out there. That's it for weather, but stick around. Tamara's up next with Newsline Sports.
Good afternoon with Newsline Sports. I'm Tamara Pimentel. In WHL action last night, Brandon Wheat Kings looked to bounce off a tough road swing where they won 1 of 3. The team has struggled with injuries of late and last night would like to see the return of one of their stars of a young Wheat Kings squad. Saskatoon Blades were in town to meet the Wheat Kings. Ryan Pulak was back in the lineup for his first home game after a lengthy time off from injury. Early in the first, Wheat Kings pressed early. Jace Haraluk has had a chance but is denied by Andrei Makarov. Then Cord Pankowicz snaps 2 shots off and Makarov again makes a save. Then Haraluk again, a good chance robbed by Makarov. Head coach Dwayne Gilroy-Chuck looks to get his boys going and seems to work as Ryan Pulak comes up with a great chance. But Makarov makes yet another big save. The Blades strike first as Nick Burns finds the back of the cage and it's 1-0 Saskatoon. Later in the frame, Jace Haraluk breaks in all alone and snaps one high off the shoulder of Makarov. We're tied up at 1. Moving to the second frame, former Wheat King Mike Furlan snaps a wrister off the crossbar and in. The Blades lead 2-1. Back the other way, Taylor Cooper with the opportunity, but Makarov stands tall. Blades on the power play, Darren Dietz takes a nice pass and scores on the screen shot. Blades up 3-1. The Blades would add 2 more, making the final 5-1 Saskatoon. The Toronto Raptors have traded point guard Jose Calderon and forward Ed Davis to the Memphis Grizzlies for forward Rudy Gay and center Hamid Haddadi. The Raptors confirmed the deal Wednesday night while the team was taking on the Hawks in Atlanta. Toronto was also sending a second-round draft choice in 2013 and cash considerations to the Grizzlies, who are flipping Calderon to the Detroit Pistons in exchange for forwards Austin Day and Tayshaun Prince. The Raptors did not have the new faces in the lineup, although they certainly could have used them. Al Horford scored 22 points, including a go-ahead dunk with 21 seconds remaining, and the Atlanta Hawks beat the short-handed Toronto Raptors 93-92 on Wednesday night. DeMar DeRozan led Toronto with 23 points. John Lucas added a season-high 19 points, and Allen Anderson had 15 points, and Aaron Gray had 8 points and 11 rebounds. And Dylan, that's it for sports.
Thanks, Tamara. And that's all we have for you today. Be sure to join us again next Tuesday for Brandon's only TV newscast, Westman Newsline.